Hi, my name is Francis Fox, and I'm here in this chat, which is also a podcast on Spotify and on Apple. And I am here to share information from other dimensions that will help to make your life easier. In the process of acquiring that information, I had to choose before I incarnated to be born into a secret government program. Most of you know the story. It does get boring to hear it repeated. But I learned so much that I learned so much. I suffered probably more than I learned, but in retrospect, maybe I learned more than I suffered, and I'm here to share it. And it's really interesting how we are at end times and revelations. They're both at the same time. That's not a coincidence. So, what's getting revealed now, at least in this part of the world that I live in, which is the United States, with all my relationship with Latin America, because of my followers, the Mantrista movement, um, revelations and end times are totally tied together. So here we go again with me giving a recommendation to the higher ups that whoever wins the election, which pretty obviously looks like Trump, you need to figure out the relationship between revelations and end times because it looks like everything is going to end. How do we do that gracefully? How do we deal with what I've pointed out several times and gotten increasingly clear on? How do we deal with the sheer volume of people involved in the sex trafficking um, without taking down society? And again, I believe that that's why they didn't release the Epstein list. The Diddy thing has to do with kind of like music and art. So maybe we can take those people down and it'll be less damaging to the structure of society. Whatever it is, that information is coming out every which way. So we have an election 2 weeks from now, and whoever comes in has to deal with revelations. Dealing with revelations, I know because I worked under, for a couple of decades, a person who specialized in disinformation. So let me give you a little clue. Did I open the wrong chat? I did. Thank you, Patricia. Goodbye. I'll see you guys later. Hello, my name is Francis Fox, and I hope to become your favorite psychic spy. I can definitely get you information you probably won't get any other place. So I'm not going to go into the whole thing about being trained as secret government program, all the rest of that. You're going to get bored with that, and it is a boring beginning. But I can tell you that we do need to have this extra information that I can bring to the table now because we are at end times and we are in Revelations, and they both came together in the Bible. I'm not sure to what extent the Mayans talked about Revelations, but it definitely is happening. So, what is it that needs to happen once our new president comes in, which apparently will be, and it would please me if it was President Trump. We need to handle these two planetary waves that cannot be controlled from the physical dimension by the normal people that run our government, etc. My mind is a little bit iffy right now, so I don't know if somebody's doing something or if I'm just extremely frightened. Um, but I continue anyway. As my control, not my handler, taught me, and I explained it in the Spanish chat, he taught me about intention. And he told me that when they gave me instructions, it really didn't matter. Even if I got shot, I was to build a tunnel between me and what it is that they told me to do, which then became my intention. And I needed to keep going. And basically, that is what intention is. When you have an intention, jutting from you extends a vector. I'll show you the sketch from the karate master when he intends on breaking a board or a concrete block and he's able to do it. That vector is what my control was talking about. And he did not have that information. He had the dynamics. And I think it's one of the things that makes me very effective when I want to do something. You can't deviate me from what my intention is, which, of course, if I happen to have an intention that's not so great, it becomes problematic. But anyway, so all of this stuff I chose before I came in. I chose the bigger picture in order to be able to acquire information. Wisdom from Tibet. I was there for a year. And then my mind is really slipping. Like I have a fog that landed on me. I said a lot yesterday that would have basically destroyed the cover for a lot of people in Miami about Grovile. So Grovile people, I'm going to say it again. Okay? So get used to it. We are in Revelations. You're not going to get away with this anymore. Why don't you guys figure out how you can get out of this or resolve this or deal with this gracefully? Because it's not going to happen gracefully. It's not going to stop. I'm not going away. And there's a lot of people behind me. You think I'm still here just because I want to be here? There's got to be a lot of people in Washington that are pushing things out of the way so that I can be here on camera and reveal these things that maybe they're too embarrassed to reveal. Or maybe they need to see what the public is going to say when it gets revealed. So Grovile people, Cuban political mafia, you need to get real. All those santeros and black magicians and curanderos, voodoo doctors, and people in Egypt that you are sending your money to are not going to stop a planetary wave of revelations. And I know that some of those people told you that they weren't going to be able, you weren't going to be able to take this down, but you've done it so many times. You pulled the veil over the eyes of everybody in Washington, D.C. You took over the police in Miami to where the head of the police said that there was a Cuban mafia in the police department. Come on, back off. And if people start to track the santeros that you guys are paying, those santeros are going to go after you. So stop it. Stop it. Quit it. Give up. Anyway, let's see if I can reclaim my mind. So we are in a planetary cycle. What is Trump going to do about this? The revelation. So I worked for 20 years with a person who was a disinformation specialist. So let me tell you the main thing you need to know about that. Really good disinformation is 99% accurate information. And you're like, oh, okay. And that 1%, maybe it's 3%, that 1% is pointed in another direction. And then if you move in that direction, because after all, 99% was accurate, you end up over there. you need to know that the people that control everything have really wide vision, and they don't deal with things in terms of today, tomorrow. They want to know what's happening today and tomorrow. They keep on track of everything. They track my chats, but they don't actually see them because they're very busy people. They have people that transcribe what I say. And for a long time, we could hear the typewriters. And we finally complained enough on camera that I guess they turned off the mic or whatever it is that they were doing. So anyway, so revelations, how do you take care of this? Our new president, how do you take care of this? It's all coming out. What are you going to do with all those people? You need to have a plan. We all need to have a plan. When you find out that your relatives are involved in this, when you find out that your lawyer, okay, was involved in this, when you find out that too many people in your government were involved in this, when you find out that the school that your kids go to was priming the kids, public schools, what are you going to do? So you can create additional chaos, or there has to be a plan. And of course, mantras would help. And I think I have one that I'm going to be putting up this weekend about this process of revelations being graceful. What exactly does that mean? I don't know. But I will remind you what they know in Tantric Buddhism. And again, we need to trolley on over. I don't dare to approach the Dalai Lama because too many people between him and me, as I already told you in another chat. But Tantric Buddhism is the highest level of Buddhism. Buddhism is not a religion. I am not a Buddhist. Got it? But you can be Jewish, you can be Catholic, you can be whatever you want, you can be a Buddhist. Buddhist is a philosophy of the mind. And I think a lot of the things that I have in that darn book I haven't been able to get out is core stuff from Buddhism, but very much the way a military person would do it, which is sketched, systematic, not just the concept that your mind handles. How did I start doing the sketches? And I haven't sketched the United States. Why don't we do that today? How did I start with this whole thing with sketching? I was in this program since I was born, and I had to work with military and scientists, and they were very difficult because they didn't have my skills. They resented having to work with anybody that knew more than they did, especially a kid and a female, yeah, the whole 9 yards. So they would ask me a question. And remember, they would ask me a question, and then they would say, you need to get us this answer. Oh, okay, I can do that. You need to give us like 10 pieces of information, but the first piece of information has to be prioritized. So the first piece of information must be the most important piece of information. Because there are so many good psychics out there, but they don't have that training. So they can give you a ton of information that's accurate, but they really didn't give you the most important thing, or they gave you that at the end and it's all got all this other stuff going on. So, but they also said to me, you have to answer the question we should have asked, but we didn't know to ask. I mean, we're talking demanding, but I'm here, able to do the things that I'm able to do because of that. So how did I start to sketch? They'd ask me a question and I'd respond. And then we don't get it. We don't understand. What are you talking about? What use is that to us? So I was a kid and I learned to, on paper, sketch the movement of energies, sketch the dynamics, and that worked. And that's what I do today. So where were we going? We're going to print up the map of the United States, and we're going to find out what's going on here 2 weeks before the election. And yes, you can expect that I'm going to be all over the map in this chat. And if that bothers you and you want to say I'm ADD, I'm going to agree with you. I had somebody that put something very, you could say insulting on my YouTube chat. And she was speaking to the other people in the Mantrista movement, my people. I don't own them. It's a movement. They can come in, they can come out, they can do whatever they want, and they need to go other places to get information. But she just said, it's really, we really need to be careful, because I think Frances has dementia and she has these other things. So I don't think meanwhile, she's there in my chats. So I responded to her and I said, listen, you really are a manipulative person in the sense of you're on my chats. You're there to take from my wisdom, my information. You keep coming back. Don't come back. And she said, that, see, that's the point. No, I don't see the point. Anyway, so I got the map. So if I am all over the place, it better be okay with you because I am here sharing information. And if you think that I need to be primed, that I need to buy new clothes, okay, and that maybe that lipstick is not quite what I should have, and how come every time I color my hair it's different? You know what? Not only am I not going to be able to help you, but maybe you're part of the problem because you are emphasizing the physical dimension. Don't do that. We're in end times. There's the physical dimension. By the way, the physical dimensions are not going to be around much longer. I don't know if it's one generation, 6 generations. It's not going to be around much longer. So anyway, yes, I'm going to be all over the place and I'm going to forgive myself in advance, but I'm here. So we're going to do the United States, and I don't like the fact that I have a red pen, so I'm going to change it to black because the red is what is the extra fire which creates the opportunity for assassination attempts and violence and everything. Today's the 18th. We had a full moon last night. I bet you did not have a lot of fun. I don't know if anybody's having a lot of fun right now because we're in Revelations, full moon, end times. The information that's coming out is basically shaking the fabric of society. The fabric of society is no longer fabric, it's full of holes. So here we go, the United States. I've started to think. I'm not supposed to think. I don't know what this is. I have no idea what that is. There is some red in Florida. And that has to do with national themes. Somebody told me that Washington, D.C., the government was going to be moved to Florida. Somebody I respect. I was like, come on, give me. Did you know Washington, D.C. is built on a swamp? It's not just symbolic, let's clean out the swamp. It actually is a swampland. Oh, well, see, if you had been multidimensional, you would have never built anything on a swamp. Because what are the 2 locations for horror movies? Cemeteries and swamps. Oh, well, you know about cemeteries. Spirits, also swamps. So building on a swamp is a guarantee that we're going to have all this stuff that's going on now. Not good. So I have no idea what that is, but I'm going to say that this is looking pretty good. There's not a lot of violence that I'm sketching. I'm looking to sketch something else. In terms of my training, I would be sketching the most important thing. So there doesn't seem to be anything real important that we should address. There's obviously a lot of important things happening. So I'll try to figure out or ask the dolphins when we're in the mantra part of this get together. I'll ask the dolphins what that is. Okay. So here we go into some gossip. I got my first piece of mail after a month and a half. I saved it, but I put it someplace else. After a month and a half of not having mail, having requested the transfer of my mail 3 times, one by a professional company where I contact them, they have a service on the internet. And they sent me a copy of what they sent. And then I went to the city of Coral Gables and I spoke to the head of the post office there. And he said, it's not in the system. I said, okay, but look, it's not in the system. He said, I'm going to put it in the system now. and then you'll get something from us, and then you'll let us know you got it, and then it'll be off and running. I never got anything from him. I never got anything in the mail because I never got any mail. So I pinned it on my post box, and the local delivery person picked it up. And yesterday, I got my first piece of mail. This is good. So here we go with all the lawsuits that are going to happen when all this information comes down. Just take me. I could take the post office to court. It's against the law. I have not gotten mail. The Coconut Grove post office does not appear to be part of the conspiracy in keeping me down, but the Coral Gables post office is part of it, totally controlled by the Cuban mafia. No mail. Meanwhile, what I'm getting in terms of my astrology is that I'm supposed to have documents on the way to me having to do with an inheritance and money that's supposed to be coming to me, an investigation. I guess everything I'm saying here is creating a lot of investigations, which is really nice. Except I'm not getting anything. Okay? I forgot what you told me, Savvy. Go ahead and tell me again. Remind me what you're talking about, because you've given me a lot of great information. So anyway, so I could sue the Coral Gables post office. And I think I'm going to actually be a little bit fair, and I'm going to put in a text message to the mayor of the city of Coral Gables. And I'm sure he didn't authorize this, but it happened under his watch. He is Cuban. So, grow a while, guys. You're getting nervous. And what did I say yesterday? Everybody on Grove Isle knows what's going on. A lot of the housekeepers there watch my chats in Spanish. The workers on the island couldn't figure out why it is that these group of old men needed to run me off the island. Well, they know now. And that group of men, which have to be mind controlled because they cannot be this dumb, are still doing things that could get them even deeper into trouble, even though I cannot imagine what would be deeper trouble than having sex traffic somebody and having it been proven. I don't know if I told you, but I was told several years ago that my relationship with Kennedy was going to be in a book. And I was like, okay, great. Book? What book? It's going to come out. Kind of, your name. And how can my name kind of come out? It comes out or it doesn't come out. So I went and I bought the book. I think the book is called Once Upon a Secret. And it was an intern at the White House that had sex with Kennedy. Okay. We're talking a long time ago, guys. So, and in the book, my name is there twice, Francis Fox, twice. And then I understood why the people who let me know said it was kind of, because my name comes out as the name of hair products that this intern used to use to wash Kennedy's hair. You can find the book. I think it's Once Upon a Secret. Or even just the description I gave you can find it. What? Well, I know what that is. They wanted to beat the bushes at that point to see if somebody would jump up and say, we know, whatever. Of course, nothing happened. They did set up a website or a page for a little while with some old graphics about, but those products I don't think ever existed. And whatever it is, whoever had this plan achieved their beating of the bushes to see if something big was going to come up. Maybe they were thinking maybe I would react, but they were the ones who told me. Anyway, I'm lost again. And yes, I'm very frightened because these people are crazed. You know, one of the reasons why I'm being very open is I would like for the least amount of people to get killed. I would like for the least amount of people to have guns held to their head because they were victimized by not this group, by any of the groups. And so the bad guys go against us, including me, my family, whatever. So, Savvy was the one who told me about the White House moving to Florida, but somebody else also told me that, Savvy. You weren't the only one. But certainly the power base is going to move to Florida, especially if California keeps acting up, having to do with Elon Musk and the spaceships. Oh my God. It is crazy out there. Anyway, I'm going to go back to my notes. In terms of sex trafficking, from what it is that I know, you cannot separate the black magic from the sex trafficking. It's interwoven. The same way I've told you before that natural resources, I don't know this country. I really don't know. But in Latin America, I know because I've looked at it in Venezuela. I actually got a contract with whatever, and the black magic is part and parcel. So you are either strong enough to be able to, it's hard to be left standing when they go after you with black magic. So you have to, what happens is that everybody in that world ends up having to work with black magicians. And that's where everything just gets to be a mess. Because once you work with people like that, once it's over. You're stuck. You're not stuck in a rut. You're stuck in a spiral that never ends well. So same thing with sex trafficking. So they say track the money, maybe track the. I don't think tracking the santeros is gonna. But you just need to know that, which means that you can't just send in a normal person to go ahead and start doing interrogations and start to look for things, because they'll be taken down. They'll have veils put over their eyes. They'll have information beamed into their heads, and not with machines, just with rituals. The number of times these people have done black magic for people to dislike me, for people to think that I'm really stupid, to people to think I'm mentally ill, for people to think that I'm lying. I have had to struggle with this reputation thing forever. And I have to tell you that before I started to talk in the 90s, I had several people tell me, and I've had that before. People would say that I was the most honest person that they have ever met, that I didn't lie, that they knew that if they asked me a question, I was going to tell them the truth. And then after I started to speak, it all went downhill. And I would say to people, but you say I don't lie. Why is it that you think you don't believe this? So what do you think, I'm lying? At which time the whole I'm not lying, Francis never lies, doesn't apply. So you think I'm lying? No, I don't think you're lying. Well, then what? I don't know. And that's the question mark that too many people have left, that have created an even bigger mess. People have not really wanted to see the truth. And I know it's unbelievable. And then all the black magic that's being done. I'm going to say this. There was a governor of one of the states of this United States that a lot of people didn't like. But a lot of the kind of people that would be into that, perhaps at not such a high level. And I remember watching her once struggling during a press conference. And afterwards, everybody said, what the heck happened to her? And I remember watching her and going, wow, she's getting hit right now with black magic. She's getting hit with black magic. I'm not sure that she ever recuperated from that press conference. She was struggling to keep it together. What happens to me, but multiply it 1,000 times. And I have remembered several times. When I was in high school, I was a really great debater. Really good. I enjoyed it. It was good. And I enjoyed the research that I had to do. And in the last several years, I've given 2 or 3 speeches that I really didn't want to give to start out with. And it's been awful. And I felt very ashamed about that. And it was the other night I was thinking about it. And I went, oh God, that was the whole black magic thing. It wasn't a deterioration in me. It was a deterioration in my ability to be me. Go back to my notes. It was in the news on X, of course. Are you guys still looking at CNN? Come on. It was in the news. Hospital. You don't go to hospitals. This is not a good thing. Don't go to hospitals. This man died. And he's on the operating table because they're extracting his organs. and he woke up. He wasn't dead. This is in Kentucky. Not dead. When Nicole Smith died, I wanted to die. I didn't really follow her. I felt bad for her. Obviously, she had some emotional issues, probably very used as a female, but that I just felt bad for her. They weren't sure about the way she died, so they immediately ordered an autopsy. In metaphysics, it is known that you are not dead until 72 hours after you stop breathing. 72 hours. This body, oh dear, this is, you have an energy body called your etheric, and it is a web. This dies 72, this separates from you, your physical body, 72 hours after you physically die. In other words, your physical body. This is what gives your physical body vitality. This is what gets separated when they give you anesthetics. When you're in a coma, this is separated. You can't move. But until this dies, 72 hours later, your physical body can still be revitalized by it. And in the cemeteries, when you see this like little white ghosts flitting around, it's usually this body. So that was in the news today. I'm doing a typical podcast. What can I tell you? So I'm going to remind you of some names today that I think these people should be asked some questions. And I'm going to add a name. And I'm going to add the name of the daughter of the guy that was my handler for at least 10 years, Rene de Villegas on 63rd Court in Miami. His daughter's name is Anouk. I don't know her last name, but it must have been at some point Villegas. Anouk means prosperity in Egyptian, and Rene de Villegas is a specialist in Egyptian black magic. If you look at my chats in Spanish, you will find that several times my followers, who are very good psychics, a lot of them, have said that they see me inside a sarcophagus. Thank you, Rene Villegas. I am not suggesting that the daughter is involved in sex trafficking. I actually called her 2 years ago and begged her to get her father off of my back. I didn't speak to her. I left a message. And I know she got the message. My family was hysterical. What are you doing? I said, you know what? I'm taking care of me and us. I never got a call back, but she's a lawyer. Did I get something from a lawyer accusing me of whatever? I haven't gotten any of that, nor will I get any of that. But I think we need to ask her, and I think we should ask that entire family, who I'm sure are terrified of this man. I'm sure she's terrified of him. We need to ask, and we need to get people out of the mode of backed into a corner with a gun through their head. So I'm saying this not just to get some movement in terms of security having to do with me and my family. I'm probably helping her and her family. We have in my astrology, I'm going to tell you that the way my TVs are set up in this new place, you get there and it's got the line of the different stations in YouTube, and then you go to YouTube, and then they have all these suggestions. So they have all these astrological suggestions. And being it that I cannot go to a grocery store, I cannot go shopping, I can't roll around in my car because it's dangerous. I'm stuck here at home. I can't have company. So I've done a lot of astrology. I'm going to tell you that the black astrologers, they're really good. They're really good. They're not the nice astrologers. They're really good. You should consider them. They're really good because my situation is very dark, and they don't have any issue with that. And I don't talk to them. This is stuff that they put out. But I realize that it's the nature of the type of life that people that are black in this country have had to live, that it's easier for them to deal with darkness. And oh, you nice white folks, you're the ones that are getting caught with your pants down and struggling to accept The level of decay and perversion in this country. All you nice people are part of the problem. So I'm going to highly suggest that you find black readers, because if you're having really bad problems, they handle the information more deeply and more easily. They have compassion and they have a lot of emotion. The white astrologers are very cool and calm and collected. By the way, I wasn't able to put up my astrology this week because I completely lost it. I actually don't have a particular astrologer that I'm listening, these little clips, and I'm listening to a lot of them. Okay. Um, I lost my train of thought. I shouldn't have looked at the chat. But the nice white astrologers are exactly that. Except we've been a nice white country. And you go like this, oh my God. And that happened to me. White skin. I ran a bridal salon. Super bright. Cancer, nice lady. Very irritating, but she's a good lady. And then I started to share to white people. White people, you big part of the problem. Big part of the problem. That dark, you don't like. And it's in the dark that we have to look at. That's what the Mayan said was going to take everything down. When the darkness within us starts to come up. So, in the astrological read, too many of them refer to a couple that are my enemies that have had several plans to literally kill me. The female in the couple is jealous of my psychic abilities and wants to replace me. I think with Rene de Villegas, I'm not sure. But they call them Bonnie and Clyde. I think Bonnie and Clyde may be in jail, one of them now. And one of them may be an informant. But anyway, but I think that just in case, we should get over to this couple, my Ray Moring and Apim Fernandez. He used to be a firefighter, and he would roll around, picking up the people that needed help, whatever. And she was Miami Police, and then Homeland Security. So maybe we should ask them some questions. But the whole Bonnie and Clyde thing is really cute. But you wouldn't get that with an Anglo astrologer. If I look at a white astrologer, it's very different. It's almost like maybe, and I know that I'm saying this and people going, Francis, what the hell are you saying? I'm telling you my personal experiences. I'm responsible. Click off. It's not a problem. The white astrologers do not seem to be quite that willing to look at the same stuff. And the trick of the matter is that the black astrologers are getting it better because my life is totally dark and black. Trump, you're really white. And that's why you're so horrified. And you say, we're going to just kill all these people and give them the death sentence. Wait a second. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. And this country even struggles with how are you going to kill them? So, got to rethink. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and let me check the chat and see what it is that people are saying. And I want to make a request. Nobody's looking at my things in English, and not enough people. It doesn't make sense. My numbers don't make sense. That's said by experts. Your numbers don't make sense, Francis. You have to have more than these. And we already know that we are able to prove that YouTube takes down my numbers. They take down my the comments that people make. So I would like for you, starting today, to have a commitment to be part of the process of this society, of dealing with the truth that we have been totally controlled. So you're on my chat, you're on this, you're looking at this, or I would like for you to put a comment, even if it's just, Francis, you're a little bit off the wall, but interesting, or whatever it is. And I want you to take a screenshot. And you can send it to me or you can hold it. And I'm going to get it delivered to someone at some point. That would be one of 50,000 lawsuits that I could start. I don't like the thing with lawsuits. But I think holding a baseball bat in your hand and saying, I have proof that you're controlling me, maybe they'll control less and they'll control other people less. So I'm requesting that you put a comment underneath, and it would be really nice if you shared what you actually feel about what it is that you're hearing. It doesn't have to be a dissertation. And then take a screenshot, okay? And send it along. And on the subject line, put, I was going to say mind control. No, put social media control. So, actually, I'm being told now that you're not able to put comments there. So then take a screenshot and put a note on it. I wasn't able to put comments. Okay? Entonces, we're going to start with the mantra. We're going to go back down to the second chakra. And, somebody is working on me with the machine because I'm seeing it now. I can see them sitting. Those machines are connected to a computer, and they're sitting at a computer. Oh, God, it's the same guy from behind the house where I used to live in Coral Gables next to the University of Miami. And now he's kind of standing up from the machine, and somebody's saying to him, you did it too strong, because apparently you can graduate the amount of energy that is sent to create confusion. Oh, yeah, and now they're fighting. Okay. Yeah, because my head has been pretty centered today. I'm bored. I'm really bored. I mean, I need to get out there. I need to and have company and whatever. Um, but let's go ahead and go back to the second chakra. I was going to show you something, but I don't have it here. Okay. Yep, nobody can send a comment. So you need to take a screenshot and send it to me. And when you do your comment, take the screenshot, and then they'll take it down, but you're telling me that you cannot even put it up, and there's no reason for there not to be comments. You're on Facebook? That's interesting. Okay, well, Facebook hasn't done that to me. This is English. I'm very heavily monitored in English. I'm not so monitored in Spanish. It's really an insult. We're not as important if we're Hispanic. We're not going to be able to do anything about it. But if the Anglos wake up, we're in trouble. And the Anglos are waking up, so we are in trouble. Okay, the mantra is going to be, please God help me with my intention. No, the other one. Even though I'm afraid to be a master. No, even though I'm afraid. I'm going to make it easier for you guys, okay? Even though I am afraid to see the truth, I love and accept myself. By the way, electricity and microwave wipe out memory. And we have microwave all around us, cell phones, computers, Wi-Fi, digital clocks. So here is, even though I'm afraid to be a master, and I'm going to do the horses. Is that what I want? Yep, that's what I want. Okay. And for those of you that want to be in training having to do with being a psychic, while you're doing this, make it your intention to see those two men that are still standing there. The guy at the computer is not sitting there. He's still standing there, and the other guy is there behind him on his right shoulder. Just have the intention to see them, and then know that you will doubt yourself. You will doubt yourself. Okay? Let me put on the music. Oh, then I have to put on the third eye music. Okay, we'll do the third eye music.